All right, moving on to our next Patreon request, and this one comes from Luke Morehouse, who asked me to do a crossover we've kind of seen before, and that is Joker versus Red Skull. As always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link in the description box below, head on over to my Patreon, hit the third tier, that'll allow you access to do so. But other than that, let's get started with the video. So yes, I know there was in Captain America Batman, Joker and Red Skull did fight for 1 second before Joker got knocked out and captured by the Red Skull. But anyway, they have met before. So what would it be like if we actually got a full-on fight between the two? Which is kind of funny to think about because this can actually happen now. Like, this could actually be a crossover that could happen with, Marvel and DC working together again. Anyway, so let's get started with the video. So this is not going to take any... This is going to be its own, like, another continuity from the Batman Red Skull story. So in here, it's a completely new one. They haven't met yet. So in this story, what is going on is that the Red Skull has come to Gotham. He's arrived in Gotham in order to collect certain chemical elements from Ace Chemicals, which has been brought back. In here, the Ace Chemicals is now a weapons manufacturer for the U.S. government, and Red Skull wants the chemical weaponry in that Ace Chemicals is supplying, because he believes he can make new bioweapons from these from this new chemicals that they're creating. However, when he breaks in with his neo-Nazi shitbags, that's when suddenly, they're saying area secure, all targets taken down, all threats, and Joker's then they hear a voice go, "Hey, dickhead, you missed one!" And that's when the guy turns around huh, and his head just explodes from a bullet. Sure enough, Joker is here, and he's arrived at Ace Chemicals for the same thing, but he's just he's taking off his hat, and he's I feel like a certain kinship with this place. It's where I was born, So, yeah, you're not going to touch it. If anyone's going to take all the harmful chemicals and hurt and ruin people's lives, it's going to be me. And Red Skull is like, Joker, I've heard about you, the American-made monster who the capitalists consider to keep living over their own people's lives. And he's like, I'm flattered. And Red Skull's like, we're both marquis of death. We're both masters of pain and suffering. We should unite. The power of my dust of death with my brilliant mind and mixed with your insanity, there'd be no force on Earth, Batman nor Captain America, not even the Justice League or Avengers could stop us. And Joker's like, you see, I'm gonna have to pass on that. And Red Skull's like, why? You're no better than me. And he's like, yeah, but the difference is I'm a homicidal maniac. You're a racist, homicidal, neo-Nazi, goose-stepping piece of shit. I may be a criminal and a psychopath, but I'm an American psychopath. So, think fast, and he just whips out his gun and just starts firing at Red Skull. Red Skull and his neo-Nazis and Joker and his thugs start opening fire on each other. And, of course, when you have free fire and bullets flying everywhere, you of course have a chemical explosion, because one of those bullets are bound to hit one of those chemical vats. The explosion happens, and Red Skull is left like, I got, this is ruined. We got, we have to leave. And they take off. They just flee Gotham, because now they know, Joker's going to alert, Joker's presence. We went through painstaking effort to make sure Batman didn't catch on to us. But Joker's here, so Joker's gonna attract Batman here, so the mission's fucked. So they leave, and they take off. However, Joker doesn't let him get away. In fact, as they're all escaping on, to an airfield, Joker shows up in a car with a Tommy gun, just leaned out of the side. He's just firing away, and Red Skull's like, "What are you doing? I'm leaving." He's like, "Yeah, you're gonna be leaving in a fucking coffin, you you racist asshole." So Joker jumps out of the moving car, tackles Red Skull, and the two proceed to just throw hands left and right. They are just completely beating the ever-loving hell out of each other in this fight. And Red Skull's like, I was trained as a soldier. You're just a clown. And he's like, a clown who knows how to fight like Batman, and proceeds to just hip throw Red Skull. And Red Skull's like, fuck this. I'm gonna I came, in case I ran into you, I was going to save this for Batman, but I think this will work the same on you, and uses Dust of Death on Joker. And at the same time, Joker just uses his Joker gas on him. The two are like, it feels like Mace, and they're like, oh, so we're both immune to each other's chemicals. Cool. And Joker's just like, all right, I was looking forward to cutting you open with with a knife anyway. And that's when Red Skull's like, I couldn't agree more. Just pulls out this big combat knife, and the two just proceed to just try to knife fight each other. They're both cutting at each other. They're both stabbing. It's just an absolute It's just a bloody matchup between the two of them. Eventually, Red Skull's like, "Fuck this," and jumps into his plane, and it starts to take off, because now it's like bat signals in the air. Batman's coming. So he's like, I can't fight Joker and Batman. So Red Skull jumps into his plane, tells the pilot take off, but Joker actually climbed onto the plane as it was taking off, and Red Skull's just like, I'm glad I got away from that madman, and there's always another time we can try this again. However, he looks out the window and he sees Joker on the wing, obviously in the Twilight Zone, and Red Skull's like, there's something on the wing. And everyone looks, and Joker's climbs under the wing to he's like, sir, there's nothing there. Until eventually Joker's pressed his face against the window just to mock Red Skull. And in a fit of rage, he just fires out the window, and it causes everything to suck out. The plane is starts to lose control. Joker climbs in through the window just to attack Red Skull again. He's like, what are you doing, man? He's like, I'm beating you down with the American Psycho style. So they keep fighting till the plane crashes in the water. Batman and Captain America both arrive on the scene after everything that happened, and Steve is just like, I'm sorry, Batman, I couldn't get here sooner. We were piecing together where Red Skull was going, and I would have alerted you sooner. And Batman's just like, I don't understand. I understand in Joker's own way, he was probably keeping his territory safe, but why was he so gung-ho on killing him? And Captain America's like, you better than anyone know not to question the logic of madmen. However, at the end of it, it's revealed Joker survived, and a boat picks him up, and Joker's just like, took you long enough. I was wondering if that homing beacon you put on me worked. And that's when it's revealed it was Nick Fury. Fury reveals, so did you kill him? And Joker's like, well, I shot the plane and it went down. I couldn't find his body. And he's like, that's not a confirmation. He's like, whatever, I did my part. I kept him from getting those chemicals, Fury. So I expect that money and my pardon in the morning. And Fury's just like, do you really think I'm going to give you money? He's pulls out a gun and his shield agents too. And he's like, oh, when you contacted me to take out Red Skull to permanently get rid of him, I was thinking, hey, I can fight from, good old Uncle Sam and, fight some Nazis and brutally murder them without any care. But I kind of figured this was going to happen. So I left y'all a parting present on the bottom of the boat before you dragged me up here. And that's when, the boat explodes. And Joker is just he jumps into the water laughing. Fury's like, get the fuck off the boat. Everyone jumps off, boat explodes. Joker has his men on a helicopter grab him and pick him up, and he's like, arrivederci, fuckers. And Fury's just in the water I'm never working with psychopaths again. So there you go, guys. That is Joker versus Red Skull. I want to thank Luke Morehouse for this Patreon request. You guys tell me in the comments below what you guys think of it. Comment below, let me know. Other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time, Multiverse.